We become what we do repeatedly every single day. As Aristotle once perfectly put it, excellence is not an act, but a habit. Now, I know right now all of our schedules and our routines have really gone out the window because everything is up in the air and we're really not able to carry on with our normal day-to-day activities. So it's so important that as soon as possible, we come up with a new, at least temporary routine to help maintain order in our life, to help us remain pushing forward in our life, and to help us remember what is truly important. Welcome back. My name is Nena and I'm a life coach that specializes in personal development. Here at this channel we talk about everything having to do with our emotional well-being, understanding our own psychology, and leading our best life possible. So if you aren't already a subscriber, please take a moment and become one because we definitely want you to stay connected. Today we're talking all about how we can create a brand new daily routine that is positive and can help bring really growth and structure during these uncertain times. I know it is so easy to kind of get into that cycle of negativity where we are really just feeling a lot of fear and anxiety, really wasting a lot of time and just kind of getting sucked into the news. Now, if it is the case for you, do not worry. It is certainly not too late to start creating a brand new routine that is going to help push us in the direction that we actually want to be going in. So that's exactly what we'll be talking about today. We have to remember that there are blessings in every situation, as challenging and difficult and as sad as they might be, and this is no exception. So we're going to talk about how we can create these new routines that are going to bring a lot more positivity into our life. I will share with you my own personal routine, and then I'm going to show you really how you can create your own. So first off, let's talk about why we should have a routine in general. It has been proven that when something is part of a routine, it's much more likely to actually happen, because when we have a lot of great ideas and a lot of great intentions, if we don't have them part of a schedule or as part of a daily routine, we never really get to those things. They're just really good ideas that get kind of pushed off and pushed off and pushed off. When we have a routine, it's like we're making a little promise to ourselves that these things will absolutely happen as part of our day. And when we have things as part of a routine, they become part of our autopilot. So these are things that begin to happen without any effort, and our body absolutely loves to run with as little effort as possible. So then you get the benefit of having all these things accomplished without giving it more mental grief than needs to be there. So even if at first these routines feel like they take a lot of effort on our part, it really is very quickly that it becomes something that really truly is mindless for us. So these things that are actually really big priorities for us actually really do get accomplished because we don't have to think about it anymore. It's just part of the things that we know we definitely are going to do. So let's talk about the things that we need to really consider before making this new routine. So there's really 5 basic points. And whether we really like it or not, right now we are probably being forced to create a new routine anyway, because so many of the things that we normally do we probably aren't able to do. So the first step is really looking at our current routine, and we want to really write out what we do every day. We may not even think of it as a daily routine, but it's very often that we have things that we are doing on a daily basis in the same order. So it helps to actually write it all out and see where we are starting from. Then from there, we want to look at our daily list and see what things are serving us and what things are not serving us. So what things are going to make the cut into the next list and what things are going to go in the trash can. We also want to think about right now what things are practical and feasible during this very unusual time. So if there is some part of your routine that you cannot carry on with right now, so maybe because of the virus you are not able to go to the gym, let's say, we want to maybe replace that with running. But we want to first see what is going to be workable, what makes the cut, and that is going to be the start of making that new daily routine. Now, the second thing we need to do is to go ahead and write out all the things that we really know should have been included in our daily routine in the past, and it has never been. Likely the excuse was that we didn't have enough time. And for many people right now, we have a gift of more time to spend than usual. So we definitely want to take advantage of that time as much as possible, especially for things that really truly enhance both our mental and physical health. So on that list, it could include things like making sure that we're eating right, having enough hours to sleep, exercising, meditating, maybe journaling, and anything else that you can personally think of that you know would enhance your life that you have been neglecting. So that is what's going to go in the next part of the list. The third thing we need to do is to think about our short-term and our long-term goals. So maybe there are goals and dreams that you know you've had for a long time that really have gotten forgotten. Maybe they have gotten swept under the rug because the wheel of life has kept turning and we have, just ended up in a different direction than we really intended to. So right now we can think about what those goals actually are, and then we want to think about what we can do on a day-to-day basis to lead us in the path of reaching that goal. So what can we do today that's going to help? What can we do every single day that is going to lead us down that path? Is it a skill that we need to learn? Is it a language that we need to learn? Is it that we need to be updating our LinkedIn profile or making phone calls or writing emails? Whatever it is, we want to think about what things that we can put in our actual schedule, in our daily routine, that's going to push us in that direction. Because again, once it becomes mindless, this becomes a habit that we will do daily. And think about where we could be if we actually took care of these things as often as we really needed to. The fourth thing we can think about are any lifestyle enhancements we could possibly include in our daily ritual. So I know right now there are a lot of things that we are not allowed to be doing, but what things could really enhance our lifestyle right now? Could it be potentially to get outdoors on a daily basis? Could it be to learn a new skill or a hobby, or to make sure that we are calling our family or friends every single day? But think about what things that you can do right now that would really truly enhance your own lifestyle. Maybe it's meditating, maybe it's, finally writing that novel that you want to write. But you want to think about that, and you want to make sure that that gets included on your daily schedule. And the fifth thing is all the other things in our life that usually don't make it onto an actual schedule, but are very, very important, such as self-care and home maintenance and scheduling time for fun and leisure and relaxation. So we want to make sure that we do have blocks of time available in our schedule for all these things that are truly important, and we want to make sure that these are getting accomplished on a daily basis as well. So you want to probably list out all the things that could potentially go in this category and see what things you want to actually make as part of that ritual. So we need to think about during this time if we are working or not. If we are working, we want to set a lot of time for work, and if we're working from home, of course, we want to set a lot of time for work. So that generally means that we are going to create a morning and evening routine. Now, if you are not working during this time, you want to come up with some kind of routine for the day, or you can leave it more open. But it's very important that we do have an actual set morning and a set routine, so all these things that are priorities really make it onto the schedule. So for the morning, we want to think about how we want to start off the day. How do we want to be feeling? We never really consider that when we are making out a daily routine, but it's so important. Are you a person that needs to kind of ease into the day, or do you wake up with a ton of energy and you are ready to go? These are kind of the things that you want to consider, but you want to think about the emotion that you want to feel in the morning. And for me, I want to feel peace in the morning. That is something that is very important to me. I like to start my day off very slow and kind of spiritual at the beginning of the day, and that really sets a wonderful tone for me. And then at the end of the day, for the evening routine, it's kind of the same experience. So you want to think about what you want to feel and how you normally are feeling at that time of day. So in the evening, do you have a lot of energy? Are you exhausted? These are the things that we want to really work around when we are creating a schedule that is logical for our own selves. So I'm going to give you an example by kind of walking you through my own personal schedule. I am still working during the day, so I have a morning routine and an evening routine right now. So I like to wake up in the morning. I wake up very, very early. I usually wake up between 5 or 5:30 every single day. And I like to start my own day with meditation and journaling. Now that is something that I've been doing for a long time and has greatly enhanced my life, and it's just such a calm and peaceful way for me to start the day. I never start my day off by checking emails or checking social media or anything like that. I like my morning to be very quiet and peaceful, so it's worth it for me to get up early to be able to do that. So after that, I make my bed, I have my coffee, and when I'm having my coffee, I like to go outside. I love to be outdoors. So I go outside and I create my to-do list for the day. I think it's so important that you do this every day. So again, you make sure all the things that you need to get done actually get accomplished. I also make sure that I do not fill it with things that I wish I would be able to do or things that I know truly will not get accomplished. I really only put down the things that actually must get accomplished that specific day. After I'm done with that, I like to go for a run. I like to have exercise first thing in the morning. I find that it really gives me energy for the rest of my day. So I always start by running unless the weather does not permit. And after that, I take a shower and I start on my normal work day. So that is my general morning routine. Now in the evening, I also really like to get back to that very calm, serene feeling. So the first thing I do is I unplug, at least temporarily. So I shut down my phone, I shut down social media and everything like that, and I have some peaceful and quiet time. So for me, that includes yoga. I like to do yoga and I like to do journaling as well in the evening. And for fun in the evening, I like to read and I like to do some of my hobbies, which are writing and playing guitar and things like that. I love art as well, but I try to do something fun, something kind of self-indulgent that is a big form of self-therapy and self-care for myself. So once I have done all those things, I'm very relaxed, and at that point I may plug back in or I may decide not to, but that is something that definitely happens as kind of my time to unwind. So I make sure that happens every day. So that is an example of a set morning and evening routine that makes it possible for me to not only get everything I need to get done, but also helps me to really design my life and make sure that I'm including all the things that are important to me. So that is exactly what you want to think about when you are creating your own morning and evening routine. So how do we actually create this actual routine? So we have a list of all these things that we have decided that we want to include in our life and in our daily routine. So we want to look at them and see what is realistic and what the priorities are. Can we get to all of these things on an actual daily basis? So we want to see how much time we need for each activity and start blocking it out and seeing what is actually going to be workable and what you want to be the actual flow for your day. So for example, I said for me that I need to meditate first. That is very important for me to start my day off with. So you want to think about what is important for you to start your day off with, because that's going to really set the tone for your entire day. So you want to see what your priorities are and then block out realistic times that you're going to need for each and every one of them. Now, right now, as I mentioned, many of us have the gift of time. We have more time than we're used to having, so we can actually indulge in creating longer blocks of time for many of these things and actually incorporating a lot more things than we would normally have on them in some cases. Now, that might not be the case for you if you are used to working and now you're home and trying to homeschool your children, as well as you are trying to come up with this new routine and possibly even working from home. You may be juggling more things than ever. It makes it even more important to have this routine so we can make sure that everything you need to get done actually gets done. So it comes down to figuring out what those priorities actually are. But if you do have more time now is the time to incorporate a lot of the things that you've been, again, really neglecting in your life. If there is less time that you have right now, you need to be making cuts. So what are the non-essential things that you have been incorporating in your life on a daily basis now? I'll give you an example. For me, I cut out television for 2 years straight because I realized when I started my process of self-growth and self-development that I simply was not getting enough sleep, and my job was way too demanding, and there was really nothing I could cut out of my life aside of personal time with television if I was going to actually get more sleep. So that is a sacrifice that I made that changed my life entirely. So these are the kinds of things that you want to look for. Anything that is truly non-essential, even if you are in the habit of doing them all the time, some of these things may need to go if you find yourself more strapped for time now than in previous circumstances. You also want to make sure that you are scheduling in enough break time for yourself. Taking breaks is so important. We are not machines. We cannot just keep going and going and going. We must take breaks. No matter how busy we think we are, we have to let our body rest. So not only getting enough sleep at night, but making sure during the day that we block out times that we are going to spend with ourselves or our family, or just doing another activity that is not work related if you are working. So for myself, I am pretty good about taking breaks. So I don't technically schedule break times in because I know that I will actually take them, but I know for a lot of my clients, they do not. They must have it on their schedule or they will not take these breaks. So it could be, even if you are working from home, that you give yourself, let's say, a lunch hour. That is an hour for, eating and for de-stressing for a little bit before you continue on with your day. And again, if that means that you need to cut out non-essential things, these are sacrifices that we need to make that are going to really enhance our mental health during this time. We have to remember that we are going through something we have never gone through before. And for a lot of people, that's going to create a lot of stress and anxiety, and we have to make sure we are truly safeguarding our mental health during this time. We want to make sure that we are able not only to get through this situation, but to thrive during this situation and to ultimately end up better than we ever were before. So again, it is a trying time, but there are blessings in everything, and if this means for you that you have more time, let's use this time. Let's use it as wisely as we can. Time is our most precious resource because it cannot be replenished. Once time is gone, it is over and we can't get it back. So we want to make sure that we are using this precious time for something that is going to be truly enhancing our life overall and making improvements. We want to use this time for reflection and for making those little tweaks in our life and that real redesign if we actually need it. Remember also, if you are starting on new goals or new habits that kind of intimidate you or are just really new and you don't know how you're feeling about them, you want to start small. You can always build and build from there. So let's say you are going to start meditating, for example, or start exercising. You can start with an increment of even 5 minutes, and the next day do 6 minutes, and then 7 or 8, and then just keep building. But you don't want to give yourself a schedule right away that you can't actually keep up with. So you want to be a little bit realistic when you're making the schedule and make sure that you are leaving blocks of time for the ultimate goals. So if we are starting even just with that 10 minutes of exercise, let's say, do leave the 40 minutes that you eventually want to get to in the schedule so that your schedule makes sense once you actually get to that point. So that is it for today. I hope that you come up with a new positive and exciting schedule for yourself that's really going to greatly impact your life, because when we have these tiny little changes with time, they just build up and build up and build up, and you see that your life goes in such a wonderful direction because you are actually designing a life with true intention. You're not just getting carried on with the waves of life. You're not letting external circumstances really just design your life for you. You are taking control of your life, and you can make it anything you want. So I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, please like it and share it with someone else who may need to hear the same message today. Also, again, if you aren't part of our community, please take a moment and subscribe. We definitely want you to stay connected. We all need to stay very connected during this time. And I thank you so much for spending time with me today. Have an absolutely amazing day.